So what is Backbone? Backbone is a JS library. It's built to mimic the RMVC structure. It has router, views, models, collections. But it also has this kind of like pseudo controller thing. And Adam and Jeff are going to get more into that on Wednesday and Thursday. But just know that in the back of your head as we go into this models and collections lesson. Cool. It organizes your code. It really highlights separation and concerns so that everything that has to do with information and data is in one end, everything that has to do with views is on the other, and then everything that has to do with routing is its own separation of concern. Cool. And like I mentioned before, it's not truly a framework. It is kind of more like a library in the sense that it's very modular and adaptable. Meant to be able to be changed, altered, configured to suit your needs. Provides objects that help separate concerns on the front end, and provides an interface API for communicating with the server backend. So again, we're talking about the ability to move all of our like HTTP request logic into the front end, so that now the only thing that we're making requests to the database for is to sync up with the backend on our front end. I.e., if we create a model on our front end, we also need to create it in the back end. Cool. Backbone models. What is a model? Chad? Data, yeah, basically, in a word. An object that represents data attributes and behavioral logic related to an entity. So if we had methods for that logic, or methods for logic for that model, that would also contain within that model. It provides code functionality for that data. Cool. So let's go ahead and get into some code. All right. All right, if you guys go into the week 10 of the Milk and Cookies repo and do a git pull upstream master. Go into day 02, Backbone models and collections. And the directory I want you guys to go into is bb_reminder_static. I don't know why that's funny, but okay. And then I want you guys to go into the starter. So in our starter folder, we don't really have much. And feel free to code along today. I'll try and take it slow.
Sorry, which one is it?
Yeah, it's going to be day 02 Backbone models and collections under the week 10 folder. And then in that folder, it's going to be bb_reminder_static /starter. Cool.
We pull it out of
Yeah, probably want to copy this into another directory. In fact, you can probably just use any directory because literally all I have is an index.html. I don't even think there's anything in this index.html. In fact, let's just do that. I'm just going to go into a temp folder myself because I already had the solution posted. Yeah, this index.html doesn't have anything. I'm going to do Mictor reminder so I can create a new reminder folder. I'm going to cd into it. Cool. So I'm in a random folder, and then I created a reminder folder, and then I cd'd and changed directory into it. Is that a verb? Change directory? Probably. No, I don't think so. All right, cool. So the first thing I want to do is I just want to create an index.html file. I also want to create a directory where my JavaScript's going to live. I'm going to create an additional directory within that directory called models. And this is where my model definitions are going to live. And I'm going to create an app.js file under my JS directory. And I'm also going to create a reminders.js under my models directory. Actually, reminders singular. Again, Backbone doesn't care if it's singular or plural, right? This is just a convention that I'm creating for myself. And again, Backbone doesn't care that that I have a JS folder. It doesn't care that I have a models folder. This is just a convention that I learned and I thought it was a good one, so I'm going to teach it to you guys. And this is also a convention that the other instructors follow as well.
Don't we also need a collections folder?
Yes, we will, but we'll get to that. Don't rush ahead, Ali. What's that? Yeah. Cool. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and open this up in Atom. And wait forever for it to load, because Atom is slow. I think it's funny when you go to Google and you type in why is Atom, it's like the fourth option. Anyways, I don't know why I segued into that, but anyways, cool. I have no idea why it's slow. I don't like that it's slow, but cool. So my index.html, I'm just going to do a quick doc type. We're going to call this reminders. If you guys don't have the Emmet plugin or Emmet package for your Atom, I would suggest it. It's really nice. Shift or exclamation point and then tab. If you have Atom or if you have Emmet. Yeah, super nice. Cool. So Atom doesn't do this though, and I like to have my code indented correctly. So the first thing that I want to do is I just want to include all of my CDNs. And we're going to have 3 of them. And the way I get my CDNs is I go to CDN.js. I'll go ahead and link that to you guys in Slack. And again, this is the script tags, all basic stuff. Cool. This is being slow. Alright. So this is a great library of like a whole bunch of CDNs. Libraries, in fact. And so what I want to do here is I want to go ahead and get Backbone. I'm going to copy and paste this. Put that in here. Put this in there. Gonna go ahead and get jQuery. Put this up here. Throw in, I don't know why they don't put the HTTPS in front of it, but, and I also want underscore. And I'll explain this in a second. And I'm just going to Slack this out the way you guys have it. Cool. It's commented a little funky, but that's alright. Alright, so order is important here, guys. So you'll notice that I have jQuery first, and then I have underscore second, and then I have Backbone third. And the reason for this is Backbone is a dependency, or jQuery is a dependency of underscore, and underscore is a dependency of Backbone. And I just want to talk really quickly about what underscore JS is. I'm going to go to Google. Underscore JS. And basically what underscore is remember all those awesome enumerable methods that Ruby had? Underscore provides that for JavaScript. In a nutshell, that's what underscore is. I encourage you to look into this documentation and use it because it's awesome. I pretty much include underscore in all of my JavaScript files now, just because I love Ruby enumerables, and this gives you access to Ruby enumerables within JavaScript. So again, very handy tool. Definitely encourage you to look into that and using it. Underscore, very sweet. All right. And the last thing that I want to do is I want to go ahead and include my JS files. Reminder.js script. And these are just the JS files that I created earlier. Give you guys a moment to catch up. So again, the order is very important here, guys. So just to reiterate, notice I don't have my script JS app.js at the top. I have it at the very bottom. And the reason for that is I need jQuery to be loaded in order for me to load underscore. I need underscore to be loaded in order for me to load up Backbone. Inside this models folder, I'm going to be using a Backbone model. So I definitely need Backbone to be defined before I load up this reminder file. All right? And then finally, I'm going to be instantiating a new model in my app.js. So I need the model itself to be defined prior to me loading up this script file, this app.js file. Is that clear for everyone as to why this order matters?
You said the last one.
Yeah, so in my app.js, I'm going to be instantiating a model of reminder that I defined here in this reminders.js. So because I'm defining the model here, I need to load it before I instantiate it in the app.js. Go. All right, cool. So the first thing that I want to do is I want to go into my app.js, and I just want to make sure jQuery is working. jQuery is working. Cool. And to do that, I'm just going to do a document.ready, which is only available through jQuery. And then I'm just going to alert the browser jQuery is working. So I'm just going to open up my index, and great, jQuery is working. Cool. I'm going to go ahead and make that a console.log instead, just so I don't have to click on it every time. Cool. All right, so the very first thing that I want to do is I just want to define my very first Backbone model. Cool. And the way we're going to do that is we're going to do var reminder, and note that it's capital R is equal to backbone.model.extend. And that's it. That's all we have to do. Literally. Now we have our very first Backbone model instantiated. Or, not Backbone model, but Backbone model definition. Class definition, if you will. Constructor function.
Is it like...
This is basically the same as doing like inheriting from active record base, right? Kind of the same thing. Where we're saying, hey, I want all the properties of a Backbone model. I want that now instead to be properties of my reminder. Much the same as like prototypical inheritance. In fact, under the hood, that's exactly what's going on. Cool. All right, so I would like to go ahead and just create our very first reminder. So if we go into the browser, I'm going to refresh the page. I'm going to dive into my console here. Make this a little bigger. Cannot read property extend of undefined. Does it need to be HTTP? Reminder JS. Oh, this needs to be a capital M. Sorry about that. Alright, needs to be a capital M. Capital M. Alright, cool. So what I want to do first is I just want to create my very first backbone model. So I'm just going to do var reminder lowercase equals new reminder. In fact, just so I'm more explicit here, I'm going to go ahead and just define this as a reminder model so there's less confusion. Because I know if I use a lowercase reminder and a capital reminder, there's going to be more confusion. So I'm just going to go ahead and call this the reminder model, which is our definition of the quote-unquote class. And then I'm going to go ahead and refresh the page. And this var reminder is going to equal to new reminder model. Cool. Alright, so just to show you that this is in fact a thing, I'm going to do reminder 1 is equal to new remainder model and just misspell it. And it says uncut reference error, remainder model is not defined. This is just to show you guys that, hey, reminder model is in fact a thing. Alright? And now I'll show you what that thing is. So we're going to go ahead and type in reminder and we're going to hit enter. And we get back an object. What's going on here? There's a lot of craziness going on here. So there's this CID thing, there's this attributes with an object in it, changing false previous attributes object, changed object. Crazy. What do you think's going on here? Just if you had to take a total guess.
It's like an API sort of thing.
Yeah, I mean it's basically just a big object, right? Contains a lot of information. What's up, Preston? Yeah. Here's the index. Do you have a capital M for your model? Oh, jQuery working? Yeah, I'll just have Adam keep working with you on that one.
Can you just show the instantiating the model on the console?
Sure. So the question was, can I show the instantiating of the model? Absolutely. So I refreshed the page, so everything that I just did was lost, so I'm just going to redo it. So this is going to be var reminder equals new reminder model. And then call the function. I'm going to hit enter, and then I'm going to do reminder again. So as we go through the class, this sort of thing is going to become more apparent as to what it is. But for now, the thing that I want to highlight is this thing called CID. What do you guys think CID stands for? Which error? Sorry? Let's All right.
Client ID.
Yeah. Cool. Client ID. What do you think that means?
ID of the client, unique identifier.
Yeah, basically for the client side. There's a awesome Stack Overflow article on this when I was researching it myself. It's right here if you guys want to check it out. But the TLDR version it's a client ID just like Roger said, and it's basically for Backbone to have an ID on client side if it's not provided on the database end. It's very useful in like local storage, which we won't be getting into in this class, but I encourage you guys to research it as usual. Cool. Yeah. Let's go back to our browser here. So again, there's a lot of stuff going on, and two important things that I wanted to highlight. One was the CID. The other thing is this attributes object. So currently, attributes, there's nothing in here except this proto thing, a whole bunch of weird stuff. And these are basically just a whole bunch of Backbone functionality. But the attributes model is the thing to look out for when we start setting these values. Okay? And we can go ahead and start doing that. Let's take a 10-minute break first. Then we'll start doing it. And that way people can hash out their issues and all that. Is anyone else having issues?